In the previous video, I gave you an overview of how to answer the yes, no, not given or the true, false, not given question type. In this video, I'm going to be going over practice set number 1. So I want to show you how to do this if you were actually in an exam. So for this example, I've chosen reading passage number 2. So it's going to be a little bit more trickier than what you would expect in reading passage number 1. So let's take a look at how to answer this question type. So like always, we're going to go straight down to our questions, and we're going to start right away by underlining or circling our keywords in each one of these questions. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to mark Hallie as our keyword. Observed is another keyword. Something that Hallie observed. Remember guys, keywords are words that are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. All of these can be useful keywords for us. Something about transit and something about the planet Venus. Now, I got a question for you right here. Do you think that this keyword is going to be useful for us? The keyword Venus, do you think that's going to be helpful for us? I'm guessing not. The reason is that this entire reading passage is about Venus in transit. So the whole article is about Venus, therefore the word Venus is going to be repetitive. Matter of fact, it seems that the word transit is also going to be repetitive. We're probably going to see this word a lot as well. So this keyword doesn't really help us much either, so actually I'm going to cancel it, I'm going to remove it, and I'm only going to focus on Hallie and observed for question number 22. Now I have to tell you about an exception that you have to make in regards to repetitive keywords like transit and Venus. The exception is that if you end up finding these other keywords like Hallie and observed, if you find these other keywords in the reading passage, then it makes sense to look for these keywords. Only then, not otherwise. So find these keywords first, and then just to make sure that you have found the correct sentence, the correct matching sentence, just to make sure of that, look for these other keywords like transit and Venus. So you'll see an example of that very soon. For now, let's keep moving on and let's mark the keyword for our next question, question number 23, le gentil. I think that's how it's pronounced, I'm not sure. But this is going to be a great keyword for us because it's a proper noun. It's the name of a person. So that's going to be a great keyword. Let's see what else we can find here. Something about observing second Venus transit. So I'm not going to mark that again for the same reason, since the whole article is about Venus and transit. So for the same reason that I did not mark the keywords up here, I'm not going to mark these keywords down here. Remember the exception though. If you end up finding these other keywords first, then it makes sense to look for these other keywords around that same area in the reading passage, just to make sure that you've found the right matching sentence. Next up, for number 24, we have something about shape of Venus, how it appears, distorted, that's the keyword, distorted, and starts to pass in front of the sun. Sun should also be easy. In this case, the S is capitalized. Sometimes the letter S in sun may not be capitalized. In this case it is, so I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that we might end up finding the word sun with a capital S in this reading passage. Since they've capitalized it here in the question, I'm guessing that they're probably also going to capitalize it in the reading passage. But we'll find out, I'm not sure. Now for number 25, astronomers is a keyword. Early is also kind of a keyword, but I would rather look for astronomers first. Something about suspected, something about atmosphere, and toxic. Toxic is the main thing that we're going to be looking for number 25. And then finally, for number 26, parallax principle. That's going to be an easy keyword. Again, astronomers, far away, distant star. So something about distance and something about a rather far distance, a long distance. And then stars as well. Stars is a keyword. And distance from where? Distance from Earth. So Earth is going to be another one of our keywords. Awesome. So now we have all our keywords for questions 22 to 26. So what I want to do now is I want to identify the easy questions first, because I'm going to go ahead and do those ones first. So I want you to take a guess here with me. If you were in the exam and you had these questions, which one of these questions would you answer first? Go ahead, take a guess. All right, so personally, I would do number 22 first, then I would do number 23 next, and then I'm not sure. I think I'll do number 26 after that, because I think that keywords like parallax principle and stars is going to be easy to identify. So let's go ahead and do those. I think I want to do 22, 23, and then 26 next, and then we'll do 24 and 25 at the end. So let's go ahead and look for these keywords. Guys, keep in mind that when you are looking for a keyword for one of these questions, for example, for number 22 in this case, I also want you to have these other keywords in the back of your mind, so that when you are reading the reading passage, when you are scanning the reading passage, these keywords may jump out at you. You might notice them. And if you end up noticing these other keywords in the reading passage, then I want you to go ahead and mark them right away. Just mark them so that it'll be more easier for you to answer the corresponding questions later on. So right now I'm going to scroll up and I'm looking for the word Hallie. And next I'm going to look for Le Gentil. All right, so let's start scanning. I am looking for Hallie, nothing here. There we go, Hallie. So the word Hallie appears here, anywhere else? No, that's pretty much it. That's where we find the word Hallie. And let's scroll down and read our question. Let's make sure what the question sentence is. So the question sentence says, Halley observed one transit of the planet Venus. So now that we have found the keyword Halley, at this point it makes sense to look for these other keywords like observe, transit, and Venus, but only at this point, because we want to make sure that we have found the correct matching sentence. So Halley, here's our other keyword observed, something about transit, something about planet. I'm now scanning for the keyword Venus. And the word Halley actually appears down here as well. Guys, take a look. We found another keyword, sun. Remember that sun was one of our keywords for another question? So we might find our answer here for that other question, but I'm not gonna look for this one right now. Right now I'm focusing on this one, Halley observed transit, and I want to make sure that it was the planet Venus, since that was our other keyword. Alright, so I haven't found the keyword Venus here. So what I want to do is actually I want to read this sentence, and I want to make sure that this isn't our matching sentence. It might be our matching sentence, it might not be, I'm not sure. So I want to read this sentence. So let's go ahead. In November 1677, Halley observed a transit of the innermost planet Mercury from the desolate island of St. Helena in the South Pacific. Okay, so it is talking about a planet, and Halley did observe a transit of a planet. In this case, it was Mercury. It doesn't say anything about Venus. So down here, the question sentence says, Halley observed one transit of the planet Venus. I haven't found anything about Venus yet. I know that it says something about Mercury, but it doesn't say anything about Venus yet. So the answer to this question might be not given, but I'm not sure yet, and I'm not going to put that as my answer because I also want to check other places where I found the keyword Halley. So I found Halley up here, but I also found it down here, and I want to now move on to this paragraph and scan this paragraph to see if it says anything else about Halley observing a transit. Okay, so around Halley, I found the keyword Venus here. So I'm going to mark it only in this case because I've found the word Venus in the vicinity of the other keyword Halley. I found it around the same region in the same sentence, so that's why the word Venus is important now. So let's mark this keyword here as well, Venus. Something about transits of Venus over here. So I think that we might find our answer somewhere around here because here we have found a mention of Halley. I have also found a mention of the transit of Venus. So let's go ahead and read this. And if we still don't find our answer here, then I'm going to move on to down here where it also mentions Halley again. But not just yet. I want to go ahead and read this part. So I'm going to start reading this sentence from over here. I think that this might be our matching sentence. The reason is that in this sentence, starting from here, we have most of our keywords. We have keywords regarding Venus, Halley, transits. So we might find our answer here. So let's begin. As Venus was closer to the Earth, its parallax angle would be larger, and Halley worked out that by using Venus, it would be possible to measure the sun's distance to 1 part in 500. Okay, so this has nothing to do with our question sentence, so I'm going to keep reading on. But there was a problem. Transits of Venus, unlike those of Mercury, are rare, occurring in pairs roughly 8 years apart every 100 or so years. Okay, I still haven't found anything matching my question sentence, so I'm going to read this sentence, the next sentence, and maybe we might find something there. The reason is that the next sentence is still referring to Halley because it says he, and we know that we're still talking about Venus and the transits of Venus, so we might find our answer here. So let's keep reading on. Nevertheless, he accurately predicted that Venus would cross the face of the sun in both 1761 and 1769, though he didn't survive to see either. Guys, this is our matching sentence. I'm going to underline that part. It says that he accurately predicted that Venus would cross the face of the sun, which is just synonym. To cross is synonym for transit. So you have to be open to picking up on keywords like this, to pick up on synonyms of keywords. To cross is a synonym for transit. So what it's saying here is that Halley predicted that Venus would transit across the face of the sun in both these years, but he did not survive to see either. So did he observe? The question says, Halley observed one transit of the planet Venus. So did he observe the transit of the planet Venus? No, the answer to this is false. The answer is false because it says that he did not survive to see either. The answer is false. Take a look here. It says that he didn't survive to see either. So he was already dead, so he never had the chance to observe this transit. We know that he did observe a transit for Mercury. It talks about that up here. He observed a transit for Mercury, but we didn't find anything about Venus up here. So that's why we kept scanning for more keywords. And lo and behold, we found our keyword Venus down here. So this is our matching sentence, and this is where we found our answer to question number 22. So what are we going to do? We're going to put number 22 right next to this line over here so that I know where I found it, because remember, these questions always go in order. Awesome. So now let's go back down to our questions and let's move on to number 23 next. Le gentil, that's our next keyword. It's the name of a person. So let's see if we can find this keyword and something about observing a second Venus transit. So let's see if we can find this. So answer to number 23 has to be found after this point because the answer to number 22 was here. So 23 has to come after it. So let's start scanning, and right there you go. Le gentil is our keyword. We found it right here. Now, remember, we're also looking for le gentil observing a second transit of Venus. So let's see if we can find these other keywords around the same area. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, something about observation here. The name appears once again here. Something about transit. Something about observations. Something about transit here as well. And it says next transit. This I have a feeling might be a keyword. It might be a synonym for the keyword second. Remember, we are looking specifically for the second transit of Venus. Down here in the question, it says observe a second Venus transit. So when it says next transit, that is going to probably be a synonym, but we'll find out. And then final keyword here, observe, once again appears here. So let's read this. I have a feeling that we might find our answer somewhere down here. A lot of our keywords are appearing down here. So let's see. Perhaps we'll start reading from over here. Let's start reading from over here, since this is where the keyword le gentil and transit appears, also observations. We got 3 of our keywords here, so it makes good sense to start reading our sentence from here. Let's begin. Fleeing on a French warship crossing the Indian Ocean, le gentil saw a wonderful transit. But the ship's pitching and rolling ruled out any attempt at making accurate observations. Okay, so we know that he did observe some sort of a transit, a wonderful transit, but we want to make sure that it was in fact the second transit of Venus. That's what we are looking for. So let's keep reading on. Undaunted, he remained south of the equator, keeping himself busy by studying the islands of Mauritius and Madagascar before setting off to observe the next transit in the Philippines. So now it's talking about the next transit, or perhaps the second transit. So I have a feeling that we might find our answer somewhere around here, so I want to keep reading on. Ironically, after traveling nearly 50,000 kilometers, his view was clouded at the last moment, a very dispiriting experience. So that is a tricky language right there. I don't know if you see it, but this is synonym language. It says his view was clouded at the last moment. What does that mean? That means that when he looked up into the sky, he could not really observe any transit, because at the last moment, the sky was filled with clouds. His vision was clouded, so he could not see it. That's a synonym language for saying that he could not observe the next transit. And in this case, it doesn't mention any other planet like Mercury or something else. So this is referring to the planet Venus, since that's what they've been talking about over here. They've been talking about Venus, transits of Venus, and this paragraph just builds upon that information. So we're still talking about the same planet, planet Venus. So this is where we found our matching sentence. So let's underline this part right here specifically. It's this part right here. Stops right here. That his view was clouded at the last moment. view was clouded. So I want to put number 23 here, since that is where we found the matching sentence for question number 23. And I want you to compare these two sentences now. So that's what you have to do every time in a yes, no, not given question. Find the matching sentence and then compare that sentence with the question sentence. Find out if the information agrees with each other, or does it contradict each other? Is it different? Or is there simply no information given about this topic? So that's how you're going to be choosing the correct answer out of these three options. So here it says, Le Gentil managed to observe a second Venus transit. Well, did he? No, the next transit could not be observed because his vision was clouded. His view was clouded at the last moment. So the answer here is going to be false as well. This is false. Now, let's move on to number 26. It'll be easy to find these keywords, parallax principle and stars. So let's see if we can find these ones, these keywords, parallax principle and stars. So I'm going to start from here because it goes in order. So 23 is here. So the answer to number 26 has to come after this point. Okay. We are looking for parallax and stars. Parallax principle and stars. I haven't. Oh, there we go. Parallax appears right there. Parallax principle. The exact phrase that we were looking for. So we might find our answer here. Check that out. Something about stars, something more about stars, and something about Earth. So we were looking for these keywords: Earth, stars, something about distance, and then parallax principle. So let's read this question sentence now. It says, the parallax principle allows astronomers to work out how far away distant stars are from the Earth. So it's basically saying that the parallax principle helps astronomers to figure out the distance between stars and the planet Earth. Let's find out. So I want to start reading from over here, since this is where two of our keywords first appear, parallax principle and stars. They appear in this sentence, so it makes good sense to start here. So let's read the sentence. The parallax principle can be extended to measure the distances to the stars. So we found another keyword here, distances. If we look at a star in January when Earth is at one point in its orbit, it will seem to be in a different position from where it appears 6 months later. Okay, I have a feeling that I found my answer, but just to make sure, I want to read one more sentence because I see that the word distance also appears here, and then our other keyword astronomers, and then it mentions the word parallax one more time. So it makes good sense to read this sentence. Knowing the width of Earth's orbit, the parallax shift, lets astronomers calculate the distance. There we go. Our question has been answered. This is our matching sentence. It tells us that using this parallax principle, we can measure the distances to the stars, and we've confirmed that here, that this parallax principle does in fact allow astronomers to calculate the distance between Earth and the stars. So that's our matching sentence. Let's put number 26 next to it. And guys, I want you to take a guess. What do you think the answer to this is going to be? Number 26, it says that astronomers are able to calculate the distance between the Earth and stars using the parallax principle. That's what this is saying down here. So let's read our question sentence. The parallax principle allows astronomers to work out how far away distant stars are from the Earth. What do you think the answer will be? The correct answer is true. All the information matches. The information in the question sentence and the information in the matching sentence, they both agree with each other. Therefore, the answer is true. Awesome. Now we only have 2 more questions to go, number 24 and 25. So let's knock these ones out. Let's begin with number 24. Let's look for something about shape, distortion, and sun. Let's read this question in fact. The shape of Venus appears distorted when it starts to pass in front of the sun. That also seems important, when it starts to pass and pass in front. So we're not just talking about any other type of passing. We are looking for a very specific type of passing. A passing in front of the sun. So let's see if we can find this. Shape, distorted, and something about passing in front of the sun. Okay, I'm going to start over here, by the way, because we are looking for number 24. So the answer to number 24 has to be in between 23 and 26, because these questions are always in order. So I'm scanning now. Okay, so first of all, I see something about sun being mentioned down here. So I see the keyword sun over here. Let's see if we can find something else. And right away, I see something about the disk looking smeared, not circular. Oh, look at that. Venus begins to cross. Remember, we were looking for a certain type of crossing, a crossing in front of the sun. And then over here it says smeared, not circular. Here, what they're doing is they're using synonym language. And they're using synonym language to talk about shape. Smeared, or to be circular or to not be circular, these are properties of shape. So I have a feeling that we're going to find our answer somewhere around here, since it's talking about crossing across the sun, crossing the sun's disk, and properties of shape. And we've also found our other keyword, Venus. Normally, we would not look for this keyword since the whole article is about Venus. But right here, this keyword is important. It's important because we have found other keywords. So just to make sure that all the information is correct, that all the information agrees with each other, we have to now pay attention to this keyword as well. Because in the question it says, the shape of Venus appears distorted. When does it appear distorted? When it starts to pass in front of the sun. Guys, what do you think the answer is? Is it going to be true, false, or not given? The shape of Venus appears distorted when it starts to pass in front of the sun. I want to show you the matching sentence one more time, and I'm going to underline it because I already see the answer here, and I want you to take a guess at the answer. Pretty much right there. That's where our matching sentence is. So here it says, when Venus begins to cross the sun's disk, it looks smeared, not circular. So our answer to number 24 is right over here. And the correct answer, what do you think it is? The correct answer is true, guys. It's true. Because all the information matches up. It's saying that when Venus starts to pass in front of the sun, its shape becomes distorted. So this is synonym for distorted when we're talking about how the shape gets smeared, not circular. By the way, if you don't know what smeared means to appear messy, to be spread out. For example, if I take a drop of liquid ink and I drop this droplet of ink on a piece of paper and then I run my finger across it, what's going to happen to the ink? The ink will get spread out. It's going to get smeared. So that's the definition of smeared. Okay? So it doesn't appear circular, it appears smeared, spread out. That's what they're talking about. So in other words, what they're saying is that the shape becomes distorted. It becomes smeared, distorted. So that is the type of synonym language that they're going to be using in these tests. So be sure to get a lot of practice with all these different practice questions. So that's why the answer is true. All the information matches up. Great. Now we only have to answer our final question, number 25. So let's look for these keywords: astronomers, atmosphere, and toxic. Toxic is the keyword that I'm especially going to be looking for because it's going to be quite easy to identify. So we are looking for our answer to question number 25. So it has to come after 24 and before 26. So our answer is somewhere in here. So we are looking for the keyword toxic. Says something about astronomers here. Astronomers was another keyword, but I'm not going to mark it just yet because I want to find toxic first. Toxic or atmosphere. Atmosphere was another keyword. Guys, have you been able to find the keyword toxic? I don't see anything about the word toxic here. I don't even see any synonyms. For example, synonyms like poisonous or hazardous. Those would be synonyms for the word toxic. But I don't see anything suggesting the word toxic in here. Let's go ahead and look for these other keywords: astronomers and atmosphere, atmosphere of Venus. Let's try to find that instead. Okay, so there's something about Venus here, something about astronomers here. Layer of gases. Okay, that might be something. So it talks about astronomers, it talks about Venus. It says that I want to read this sentence. I want to read this. I have a feeling that our answer might be somewhere around here. While this showed astronomers Venus was surrounded by a thick layer of gases, refracting sunlight around it, both effects made it impossible to obtain accurate timings. It says nothing about toxic here either. Let's see here. Something about Venus. Not sure if that's going to help us. All of the methods. Guys, they're talking about accuracy. They're talking about Venus and transits. I see nothing about the word toxic. I see nothing about it being poisonous or hazardous or harmful. I don't see any synonyms and I don't see this keyword. So what do you think the answer is going to be for this question for number 25? Not given. The information is missing, right? So the answer is going to be not given. Congratulations, you have answered all of these questions for the yes, no, not given question type. So I know that some of these questions were a little bit tricky, and that is definitely something to be expected when you are answering questions from reading passage number 2. In the next video, I want to show you another practice set. This time I want to show you our practice set number 2, and this time in the next video, we're going to be looking at a question set from reading passage number 3. I want to show you a more trickier question set looks like, a question set from reading passage number 3. So take a look at that in the next video, and I'll see you there.